this is uncanny. This is uncanny. This has never happened before. I don't understand what's happening. And all I wanted to say to him was just like, honey, you have no idea who you're fucking dealing with right now. I'm a witch. I do this for a living. This is what I do. This is my jam. Oh, gorgeous morning. I never sleep with the blind up. In fact, I usually have the lace of the curtain pulled aside as well so I can see the sun. Can you see how dark it is? It's like 7:30. I better put a light on, right? Oh, it's bright. And that doesn't work. See, the thing with me is that there's so many clocks in my grandmother's house. She had them all going. This would tweet every hour. Drove me nuts. I turn them all off because as much as I know that we follow time, I don't like to reiterate that because time is an illusion. Time is something that we have created. Great first thing in the morning. We have created time and we are only as old or as young as we think we are. But I do start my day with oranges, freshly juiced, every single morning. And if I don't start with freshly squeezed orange juice, something feels missing. I'm missing something. And I'll go through the day of alternating fruit juice. In fact, I'm trying to incorporate more. Juicing to me is a very important part of my lifestyle. And it gives me the best health. I always feel the best with juice or fruit. But I figure if I can at least be 80 to 90% consistent with fruit and juice, then that's better than not. So it's just, I would rather have this kind of consistent diet than, not have any consistency at all. So my chicken Shalaha is sick. I don't know if she was sick last time in my live stream, but she's gone downhill with candida again, which is a yeast infection in their crop. I'm hoping it's not something else because she hasn't been laying properly, and it's she's been off for a week, and I've been feeding her with a syringe every hour. Just a 10 ml syringe. I give her a mixture of just raw eggs, basically. So I've got some, thanks to Venus, her sister, I feed Shalaha raw egg with some warm water, mix it up, put it in a syringe. I'm telling you, that's worked better than anything. So cleaning out her bowels, lightening up her load, allowing her body to naturally heal itself. And the thing with candida is that you can't feed them sugar because candida thrives on sugar, and it keeps it alive. So whether she's just got candida or there's another underlying issue, I don't know, but I know she's got candida and she's had it, and her crop is still like concrete in the morning. Not so much anymore, but it's still there, and she has had constant candida. This is her third bout of it since just before Dima died. So, and that's what, I don't know if that's what killed Dima, having that untreated, or Dima also had an underlying issue because she had yeast. She had candida, but she had an impacted gizzard. When I did a small little autopsy on her, her gizzard or her stomach was just rock hard with a fistful of yucky black seed and stuff that hadn't been digested. It was awful, and it stank really bad. So, this time round, with Shalaha, all I can do is give her this, and it may take a month or more. But egg yolk doesn't have sugars. It's got natural fats and trace elements, good salts. So it's replacing her electrolytes. So that's what her diet's been. That's it. That's it. I have given her a little bit of grain, and I have given her a little bit of the dog's mince, because I have to look after my grandmother's dog here, and she just goes mad for the mince. All chooks go mad for meat, and that's something I've learned. My parents have come with, because they still eat meat, if they've come, come over, they'll come with a bag of scraps, and if that's got meat in it, that's the first thing the chooks go for, is the meat. So I have been giving her some of the dog mince, just small little bits, and she's just wolfs that down, so she loves that. These are my days right now, and I'm getting ready to head back up to the desert. Yeah. So I went up last weekend, and I've put some offers on some places up there. So now it's just a bit of a waiting game. But you know what it is? I mean, I've obviously, I have been updated, but I can't really talk about it right now. But things are good. The thing is about this place, clairvoyantly, a year ago, let me take my hair down. Clairvoyantly, a year ago, I had dreams of walking around this place in the dark. Even before it was listed online. I've cut my hair actually recently. Even before it was listed on any kind of real estate thing, or was even potentially for sale, I had dreams of walking around this place in the dark. It was so weird. And it was only when this came up for sale that I started remembering these dreams, because this wasn't just one dream. This was several. And I thought, what's universe doing here right now? What's universe showing me? But this place is my heart. This is where all my ET encounters happen. I tried to explain it to my mother, because she doesn't understand why I would want to go back to this place. And I told her, I said, you know what? One thing you won't understand is that all my ET abductions and encounters have happened up in this area, in the desert. And, she didn't say much, because she remembers how this affected me, how this was just so profound when they were happening. She remembers how sick I was, how sick these encounters had made me, with full-blown mastitis. Even my friends that knew at that time the mastitis that I had. Mastitis is something a breastfeeding mother would experience, and I was having this, but I was having these encounters where, they were obviously sexual by nature with these creatures, mainly the greys, and genetic experiments were happening. But all my encounters, the good ones, the not so good ones, were happening there. But my most profound one happened up there also, which was with the Starman from Aldebaran. And I've spoken about it, through the years, how that has impacted my life. And that is one of the reasons, or these encounters in general is, the main reason why I went back to study university, because everything changed after that. And anyone that's had profound encounters, their lives do change. It's a bit like an NDE. When you have an NDE, everything changes. Everything changes. Your friends, you might get divorced, you might get married, you change your jobs. Your whole outlook changes when you have these encounters. And it gives you such a broad perspective of what life is and what life could be, other than this thin little pathway most of us follow. But those that have had these encounters will know exactly what I'm talking about here, because they're so profound, they're so life-changing. And I haven't, as far as I know, I haven't had encounters with this Starman, because that was the most uplifting, the most positive, the most profound from me out of all my encounters, from what I can remember. Nothing has touched me so profoundly, because that kind of love, I know, and I've heard this from people with NDEs that have experienced being around that love. It's that kind of love, that just unwavering, absolutely unconditional, forever, eternal kind of love. You can't even put it into words. It's so deeper and grander than anything I've ever experienced on this planet. It's breathtaking. And I wish I could translate it and push it into this video to you guys. But even I can't feel that myself now. And I felt it from this, 8-foot being. I don't know how tall, like, I don't know exactly how tall he is, but I remember looking up at him like this. And I just said to him, "Are you abducting me?" And he laughed. He thought that was so funny. Because it was such a prosaic question. It's such a... I could understand why he laughed, because the scope and the magnitude of what I am and what I was a part of was just so unfathomable to my little human brain. He laughed because I feel that he knew that I had no idea of who I really was, and that I was using my human perception of calling it an abduction, when, the truth of it is that I am grander, just like you, more than I could ever possibly know. And I very much knew what was happening on an unconscious level to me. But in my little small mind, I'm saying, "Are you abducting me?" Because agreements have been made prior to coming into this life. And I kind of laugh, because I think, what happens if that being is me in the future? I don't know, but, or, not even in the future, but in a concurrent lifetime. So I feel like that laugh was, he found that so funny, because it's almost as if he was projecting to me, "You know what this is. We've agreed on this lifetimes, this, you have no idea right now of the grandness of this project." Not even a project. The word project is, again, it's like we don't understand the enormity of this entire existence and this symbiosis with one another. Earth beings with all these star beings and interstellar beings, feeling like we're so separated from. So the laughing that he laughed to me, there was so much depth to that. But he answered, and he laughed, and he said, "All the time." So he was so funny. And I felt silly for asking him. I thought, and then I said, rushed, so hurriedly, "Well, what number time is this?" And he said, "This is the 38th time. We've abducted you. At least, that's what he said." And I said to him, in so much, I was so impatient to know everything what was going on, because I was telling myself, you have to ask him this, you have to ask him this. And then I said, well, where are you from? Where are you from? And all of this conversation, this dialogue is telepathic. And then he says to me, well, he didn't even say, but he gave me the projection of the name Aldebaran, and exactly that's how it's pronounced, Aldebaran. And I've heard people pronounce it as Aldebaran. It's not that. I've heard it from the star people themselves. It's Aldebaran. And in fact, it's funny because when I listen to the channeled information that I've showed you from the Brothers of the Solar Cross, the Martians, the ones that I've showed on some of the live streams, they also pronounce it Aldebaran. So that gave credence to my pronunciation, because I hear how some places are pronounced, and I'm big on that pronunciation. I think it's correct to pronounce it correct, because I believe everything, is oscillating at certain frequency. Words we say oscillate at certain frequency. Words are codified synapses. They are codified frequencies that have depth to them. We know they have depth because when we say certain things to people, we feel how those words mean to us. So anyway, profound experiences. And a lot of them, so they've been the most incredible and the most terrifying. The ones with the greys, even though I supposedly agreed to it, which I believe I did, even if I don't understand that in this life, I was told, you agreed to this, you agreed to this. And in this encounter, I'm seeing myself nodding to the being. Yes, I did. Yes, I know. So no matter how traumatizing it is with the greys, oh my gosh, the terror and the trauma of that, not even the trauma, but the terror, because I don't feel traumatized by them. I don't feel traumatized by the experience, but I was terrified when it happened. And every time it happened, I just could not get rid of that terror, that just absolutely bone-chilling, dying of fright, terror. It's frightening. And I could never calm myself down. A couple of times I did, but when you're held down and the only thing you can move are your eyes, and you see all these beings looking down at you, not even looking down, there are a few bigger ones, but then all these smaller ones. Wow, it's just, yeah. But as far as I know, I have not had any encounters for years since then. 2009, 2010 was the pinnacle, I feel, for these encounters. I don't know what's going to happen when I go back, but I very, very much feel all this is in perfect synchronization. It always has been. The selling of Elnor, how quick that happened and how flawless that happened. And now that, the selling of Elnor has enabled me to be able to put down a purchase back up in the desert, because one thing about this place is because it's so remote, banks are not lending. You will not get a home loan up there, or rarely you will. I mean, there may be changes now, but at least from my experience, and even now when I've just inquired just out of curiosity, even though I don't need to, no banks are lending. At least they're not to me. Every single bank I have spoken to or called about this, no lending. So it's very hard to get finance in these places because they're so remote, because, they're not as popular as other main populated areas in the state or even in the country. So I feel like the timing of everything has worked out so flawlessly, is the only word I can say. But I'm a witch. I'm a manifester. This is what I do, because the whole experience with selling Elnor was so funny, because everybody My mother denies it, but I reckon she was in on it too. I can't remember what she said, but everybody else, even my agent, nobody thought I would get my price. Everybody just said, "Oh my God, I think that's too much," or you're dreaming, basically. Even my agent just said, "Oh, I don't think you're going to have any luck at that, but we can try. We can try." I said, "Thank you for allowing the opportunity to just try. What could we lose from doing that?" And so, I said, "Look, if there's no interest after a month, let's just drop the price." Oh, well, we didn't have to do that. Christmas Eve, like literally a week or like a week and a half after that listing was up, my agent calls me and he's just like, "We've got, an offer." And then when that one didn't come through, we got, like, within an hour, another offer came through. And he's like, "This is uncanny. This is uncanny." He just kept, that's his word. He kept saying to me, "This is uncanny." And it's for full price, cash, and I'm just like, let's do it. Let's do it. This is uncanny. This is uncanny. This has never happened before. I don't understand what's happening. And all I wanted to say to him was just like, "Honey, you have no idea who you're fucking dealing with right now. I'm a witch. I do this for a living. This is what I do. This is my jam." And so when that came through, and auspiciously on my birthday, like the settlement date, it was just hilarious because, everybody was happy that I got the price, but no one could believe it. And I'm just thinking, people, you should have more faith in the way the universe works, because perhaps you would get more of what you wanted if you just believed in it. And it's not even just believing, it's believing, projecting it, and then letting it go. Because I let it go. And I laughed when it finally settled and how quick it settled. The buyer wanted to settle in 10 days. And hey, I was down for that. But the agent was like, "Are you kidding? We can't do it in 10 days. We're a country practice. And it's Christmas, it's New Year's, it's public holidays." He said, "There's no way we can close this in 10 days. But that just shows you how the universe works. Everybody said it wouldn't work. I wouldn't get the price. And my mother, she says, "Oh, well, I didn't say that." But I don't know if she did. But I knew I believed in that price because I knew how much effort and time I had put into that place. And if I could, I would have picked it up and took it up to the desert because I was very happy with what I created. And the space and the conditioning. But obviously we can't just pick up our house and project it over to somewhere else. So you've got to start somewhere else. So, it just happened. And then for this all to come through, these properties on the market up in the desert, I have been waiting for years, even before the even before me moving away from the desert. I dreamed of owning a property in the desert, but because it was always owned by the government, this place, it was always owned, this land was always owned by the government. It had never been separated. And it was always my dream. And I remember thinking back in 2009, if only I could just buy my house. If only I could just buy my house. A lot of people just felt that way about this place because it is a very sacred, special place. But when this finally came through, in January, like when I had, finally found out, and well, even before there was the rumor of these places selling, but it was going on and on and on and on and on, like for a year or so. When are they going to be listed? When are they going to be listed? But the timing has just been flawless with everything. So, Elnor settled, and then, now this has come up, and I've got what I wanted. The place that I've looked at, I can't talk about it too much because it's not finished yet, but I have signed a contract. But I have to wait, obviously. But I've got what I wanted, and I can't tell you how happy I feel to be going back to the desert. It's a lot different to even here. I'm 3 hours away here. Internet is slower. I don't know how I'm going to be with that. So I hope it's at the same speed as what it was last time when I was there with my videos. My girlfriend up there seems to think it's even slower, but I don't know. But I don't care. I don't care. I can manage. And so internet, phone signal, I don't care about that because I don't use my phone too much anyway. I get on and post on my Elnor Gardens Instagram. Actually, I've been posting more frequently recently, but I'm not big on social media at all. So this, frequent posting on Instagram is pretty infrequent. You probably won't hear from me again for a few months. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. Because I love connecting with people on media and social media. But it's about having the balance. I hate all the other stuff that comes with social media. I wish it was when it first began as YouTube. When it first began, it's when they start just saturating your feed with everybody else's feed and everybody else's stuff. I wish it was just private and personalized, where you only see who you follow or and not everybody else's crap, because a lot of it is crap and it's so off-putting to me, at least. And it can be very detrimental to people. I know a lot of people feel that pull to get away from social media. I felt the pull from Facebook because Facebook is no longer what that used to be. So I don't, I'm not on there. I don't even post. I do have my Andulairah page. I've just kept that up, but haven't been updating that. All these great platforms that were very grassroots are now their own Frankenstein, basically. But I do enjoy connecting with, the good souls of planet Earth. And that does come through social media. And I've had some great opportunities and things come through social media. So there are definitely great things, but it's just creating the balance. Just creating the balance. Yeah. So anyway, thought I'd do a little quick vid. This is not a quick vid. This is a 30-minute video. I have to do some chopping down. Okay, I'm going off to eat breakfast, and may you always be blessed by the supreme truth and love of the cosmos. I will keep you updated. And once I get back up to the desert, I already feel the invigoration to kind of present more, because I do see the benefit of YouTube. YouTube is what has created our connection. So I have to give it that, if anything. I know they've terminated my original channel. It's been a love-hate relationship with YouTube, let me tell you. But it has been good in many ways. And that's like life. We have to weigh up the pros and cons, right? That's how it is. Love you.